think to really get ahead in life, there are two things: extrinsic and intrinsic motivation, right? When you're starting out and you're wanting to get ahead, go into your journey of personal development or starting your own business, there needs to be a certain amount of intrinsic motivation, right? Like you need to, consume content and see things around you and realize, I need to do something to change, right? I need to develop a certain discipline in order to make 10K per month, or go to the gym and get a six pack and all those things. So there needs to be a certain amount of intrinsic motivation that you need to develop in yourself to grow, right? So that's intrinsic motivation. Now, another thing I think allows people to really change is, extrinsic motivation, right? Things that are outside of yourself, things that you see, right? You see someone, driving a Lamborghini, you meet that person, it's very inspiring. That's extrinsic motivation, right? Inspiration that you get from meeting others, from your friends, from even consuming content online, right? And you can't have just one or the other, right? I don't believe that, you can just consume a lot of content and don't develop the discipline yourself. You won't succeed. And the same way it goes, you can, you can do a lot of things yourself and get very successful to a certain degree, but there's a ceiling, right? And I feel like if you're very disciplined, you can get very far, but other people and other extrinsic factors can take you even farther, right? And I bring this up because I'm currently here in Cape Town, South Africa, and I just returned from a very life-changing trip in Dubai. So, give you a background. I was just in Dubai for 2 months, and a couple of months ago, around October, I had just left the United States to just essentially take a work holiday in Europe, because I've just been grinding for 8 to 9 months in the US, and I thought, okay, my business is in a place where sometimes it can run on autopilot. I can manage things from my phone. My team is trained and they can handle everything. I'm gonna go to Europe to work. So I go to Europe, I go to Portugal to work, and then my friend was working in Poland. We went to Italy together, and then he's like, my EU, stay is running out. let's go to Dubai, right? We've seen Dubai on the internet, and Dubai is very flashy place. Lots of entrepreneurs going there to try to sell you a course and whatnot. So my initial thought of Dubai is okay, whatever, let's go 2-3 weeks. I've never been. That's my first time where I could actually afford to go to Dubai. So let's just go there and, pay for an apartment that has the Burj Khalifa view, and let's just stay there for 2-3 weeks and then, go from there, right? Just to experience it and say that I've been there. Because myself, I wouldn't say I'm a very materialistic person. So I personally don't even like to drive. So seeing Lamborghinis and all those things is cool, but I don't think I was a very materialistic person, and Dubai didn't really appeal to me. So I thought I'd go and be like, oh, just whatever, and just leave, right? So what happened was, we ended up going, and initially, Dubai was a couple of things. It was more convenient than I thought. You go there, the service is amazing. The value that you get, although it's expensive, coming from living in, New York, the same, we paid around, $2,700 for 3 weeks at an Airbnb, so around $900 per month. And it was a 2-bedroom apartment with a massive living room with a Burj view. And that same $2,700 that you'd spend in New York, you would just get just 1 bedroom, right? So although it was expensive, the value that you're getting in Dubai was good, right? Every dollar that I was spending, I was getting, right? We joined the UFC gym. It was $300 per month for the gym. The gym was absolutely amazing. The level of fighters and trainers there were amazing. Every workout was really pushing myself. We were sparring twice a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays. It really added balance to just working online at the apartment, ordering in food, and then going to the gym and seeing what the rest of Dubai offered. Dubai was great. It was very convenient, but nothing about just being there would really change anything about me, right? Those are cool things to experience, but traveling somewhere, to a certain degree, if you travel for a bit, it won't change too many perspectives about you if you've gone to a bunch of places. What really allowed Dubai to be such a, unique experience was the network that was there, right? The amount of entrepreneurs that were in Dubai, and the levels of wealth that you would just see there is crazy, right? Like, you just go to the beach, go to the beach club, there'd be Lamborghinis riding outside the lobby, you'd see mega yachts passing the back, but the most inspiring factor was actually meeting other entrepreneurs doing far better than me, and some of them were far younger than I was also, and a lot of them came from the same backgrounds, and there was a lot of shared interests, and you realize that the same people that are doing better than you, that you see on the internet, that are doing 100K per month, 1 million per month, like all these people are more or less the same people as you. They have just worked harder for longer, and they've been more disciplined, and they have found a network of other individuals so that they can progress there faster, right? And that's just a combination of extrinsic and intrinsic motivation together, right? If you have a good level of intrinsic motivation, you develop a lot of discipline and scale your business. Then you meet other people who also develop the same intrinsic motivation, and then you guys help each other. And creating that network would only allow all of you to grow faster together, right? So people who develop this intrinsic motivation give extrinsic motivation to the others around them. And I think that's what really allows people to grow. And to really give you in depth on experiences, I came to Dubai, and initially the first 2 weeks I didn't really meet anyone. I actually got sick when I got to Dubai because I came from Poland, went to Dubai. It's a huge temperature change, and I think I got some kind of flu on the airplane. And then I met at the gym. My buddy left to go to China, so I was alone in Dubai. And then I met at the gym I met another entrepreneur around like 23 years old, and he has a software development company. So his projects for software development were like around $50,000 per project, and he was living in like Business Bay, 2K apartment, amazing lobby in the place, like beach club thing on the 8th floor at the hotel, paid 2K per month, moved completely to Dubai. And so it was very enlightening to meet other entrepreneurs around the same age, and we all wanted to help each other. And around this time, I'd been following some other agency owners and people in the online business space that were already in Dubai. But my circle of friends who start online businesses aren't many, right? It's just all my friends from college, and only recently did I develop a business that allowed me to have freedom and to travel the world, right? And work wherever I want. And so I didn't really know anyone, and it's you can't just DM one of these guys and they'll allow you to come hang out with them. Is in order to network, there's always there's a divide, right? If you build a personal brand, you build a following, other people would want to meet you because they see you have 100K followers, you have lots of followers, and you're in the same area, like they'll meet. But for me, like I had my personal Instagram like 4,000 followers, and didn't really know anyone. I just finally developed intrinsic motivation myself and left my hometown, and now I'm not good enough to where I have in the next level of online entrepreneurs, but I'm also grown beyond where my friends and family and the people around me in the US, right? And so I was kind of in that middle ground. And I saw that these entrepreneurs, they were hosting like a New Year's Eve event. And so to clarify, he was a roofing web agency owner, and he was doing like 100K per month. I've been following him for a while because one of my friends that I met in Bali worked with him here in Cape Town, South Africa, with his videographer. So my the one skill that I do have other than just running an agency is I was a videographer, and I saw that he was hosting a New Year's Eve party with other online entrepreneurs from the US, Canada, just everyone that all the entrepreneurs that when I'm scrolling through Instagram Reels, like those people in those Reels were the same ones that are going to be at this party, right? Guys doing 100K per month, 1 million per month. And I thought, like, wow, like to be in, the same room as them, just to be there would be so inspiring. And I know just being there to see everything for myself, being that everyone was around the same age as me, would have been very inspiring. So I saw that he was hosting a New Year's Eve party. Like, I was like, there's really no way for me to go because it's obviously invite only. It's only with the rest of his network. So I messaged him. He had a RSVP for a guest list, probably just for girls. But then on the RSVP, there was a phone number that allowed people to, send him personal messages. So it could have been a VA. I didn't know it was going to go straight to his phone number. And so I saw the WhatsApp, in the RSVP, and I didn't go through the RSVP. So I just texted the phone number directly. And I said, hey man, I've been following content for a while. I absolutely love it. Consume all your YouTube, talking about a couple of details, and saw that you're hosting a New Year's Eve party. And I'd love to come to the party just to cover all the video and photo content from this party so that you and the rest of your network can just have amazing photos and videos to share on your social media. And I'll do this at absolutely no cost, right? We have a mutual friend. Here is my work. I run an online business as well, so I kind of understand, everything that you guys are talking about. So I'm being a stranger, and I'm 100% serious, right? And so I sent this message, and I just waited. I was, pretty much attached. I was like, if you allowed me to come, it would be great, right? I'd be allowed to meet everyone and create another connection. And if not, just go about my merry way, continue my rest of the trip, working in Dubai. And so that same day he responded, and the next day he told me to come, right? It was New Year's Eve. And so I had went, texting back and forth. I went there, and I met him and the rest of his network. They were staying at Dubai Marina, and immediately when we were there, he showed me around. They were staying at the Rixos, something like that, the same apartment that you see all of these Dubai entrepreneurs staying at, like Mike Thurston, where you can see the Ferris wheel and the rest of the marina, the palm in the background. And that place was to live there, you got to be spending 10,000-15,000 a month on a room. And so it was spectacular, just penthouse views. And I got to really meet everyone intimately there. Everyone there was just, imagine all your friends have finally made it. Everyone's doing 100K per month, and it's just all your friends. That's just what it felt like. It was just this group of friends that had all finally made it. And they were still just working all the time, talking about business, shooting the shit, cracking jokes. It was the same vibe, right? And, being there, obviously just had banter, helped them shoot some content for, VSLs and funnels, and then got ready for the party, went to the yacht party for New Year's Eve. They rented a yacht to go around the Palm, and the New Year's Eve fireworks, and, on the boats, obviously there was a bunch of girls that they invited and other entrepreneurs. But the real key thing was, I was meeting 20-year-old kids who were making, $136,000 in the past month. On the boat, he was closing deals from his phone, $3,000, $5,000. And it was just very, very inspiring that, this guy, 20 years old, doing $136,000, and he only started, he's only been doing this for the past 2 years, right? And I actually had seen this guy's content on YouTube. So just in the past year, it was around March, April of last year, I was interested in a content agency, and I'd been consuming his content on YouTube. And then I finally met the guy in real life, right? And he was telling me, yeah, I'm doing 136,000. He had finally just moved to Dubai. And, you know, he was completely honest and transparent. He's like, bro, I've been living in my parents' house for the past 2 years, just grinding, putting my head down, so that now I'm making $36,000 per month. And now I finally moved to Dubai and you know, starting to kind of live large, right? So before, you know, he was putting a lot of content on social media, but he was really holding back. You know, he hadn't bought, like, he had only purchased a car for his parents, like a, you know, Hyundai SUV, and he wasn't taking the 100K per month that he's making. He wasn't buying a Lambo. He hadn't done any of that, right? And so a lot of these individuals were the same, you know, archetype, the same type of people as me. And so me doing, you know, currently I'm doing an average of, like, you know, in Dubai I was doing like between 15, 20,000 per month, and I thought I was doing okay. Obviously I want to do more. And then I met these people that were younger than me and around the same age as me, doing 100K plus per month. I'm just like, what am I doing wrong, right? Like, and I realized it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong per se. I'm just new to the game. They've just been doing it for longer than I have. They have a greater network than I have, and they have just been working harder than me for longer. Because I asked them, I'm like, what do you think is the one thing that allowed your, you know, business to start making 100K? What is like the one thing that you learned that clicked? He's like, bro, like, there wasn't anything. Like, I just kept doing it. And he was like, I'm like, did you hire a closer with your team? He's like, no, I'm the closer. Like, I hired a bunch of closers. They weren't good. I closed all the deals myself. Right? And I realized is, you know, find what is the one thing that drives the most amount of sales in your business. Like, you know what it is, right? Like, sales calls suck, but they drive the most revenue in your business. And I'm like, so what is your advice? And I talked to him, and he's like, the one thing I realized is, you know, right now the key mechanism to driving my business forward is what are the revenue generating activities? It's sales calls. I hate sales calls. They suck. You know, even though I used to do them, you know, up to 12 hours per day, like, you know, it sucks, especially around Dubai. And when I was in Dubai, the time zone sucked. I hate staying up to talk to these people, but that's what drives revenue in the business. Right? The most uncomfortable things that actually drive revenue in the business, those are the things that you need to be doing. These are the things that these people are doing, these high leverage activities that actually get them to 100K plus per month, right? And all of them have a great deal of extrinsic motivation, right? You know, the guy that invited me to the party, he was doing $17,000 in his coaching offer, and then another one of his friends there helped him bring his coaching offer up to $50,000 per month just by implementing a couple of things. And so all these guys who had developed this intrinsic motivation to be in a place to meet other people who did the same thing, and together they networked and, you know, bring each other up, help each other with different things. They're all growing together, right? And, you know, saw that. And it gave me a great deal of inspiration and extrinsic motivation to, it's like, I want to be the same level as these guys. And I know I'm not there yet, right? And so at some point you need to, you know, you need to be aware and be like, there's some things that I don't know. There's some things that I need to know, that I need to do. And I'm willing to be all ears. I'm willing to, you know, do things for free, work for other people, just to be in the same room as other people. And that's exactly what I did, right? And later on, they you know, even after the party, they invited me to just come hang out with them as well. They're currently in Cape Town as well, so that they connect with them here as well. And, you know, they're all the same age as me, you know, same mindset. They've been doing it for longer, and they found others who are doing the same. Right, and so while they're, you know, able to spend more and celebrate, they're all still working very hard. Like, every time I come over to the apartment, they're doing the same thing as me. They're all like me. We're all working, you know, 8, 12-hour days. You know, obviously we're gonna enjoy ourselves as we're gonna travel, we're gonna go to places, but they're all the same as me and you, right? Except that they've worked for longer and worked for harder. And I know for a lot of you, that's not what you want to hear. It's not what I wanted to hear either. I didn't want to, you know, it's a cold realization to realize that you just have to work for longer, for harder, and network with other people working harder and longer. And then together you work harder and longer together. That is the one takeaway that I have from the experience. That in order for me to get to where they're at, I just need to work harder for longer, right? And then find a network of individuals that will take us together. And so, if there's really anything that I would strongly advise any of you in any position that you are in growing your online business or doing whatever you're doing, is when you get to a certain place where you're able to spend more time to network, right? You should always be looking for other like-minded individuals, whether it's DMing people on Twitter, Instagram, whether it's growing your personal brand, it's meeting some guy for a coffee in the city that you're in. Always find ways to put yourself in a position to meet other individuals that are doing better than you or on the same journey as you. Share those insights, right? Because you can't, you can rely on just your own discipline and just work really hard, but there's going to be a threshold, right? You're in the start, it's going to be an exponential curve, and then it's going to be a logarithmic curve. Whereas if you continue to meet other people, when you get to the top, it'll go from a logarithmic curve to exponential, and you'll have greater change, and you'll be able to grow faster as a person, right? And you should always be humble and never be like, oh, I'm too good to meet these guys. And I don't believe that they're doing that. Like, you can, I could have said, I've seen these guys doing 100K per month, doing way better than me. Oh, they're doing a fucking scam course, right? Or, none of this is real. They're faking their Stripe, right? Or none of that is real. It's all for show. They're just trying to get me to buy their course. You can have that mindset, but what good is that going to do for you, right? You can see everything online, people doing better than you. You can say, no, they're just scamming. They're not actually doing it. What good is that mindset going to do for you, right? And, seeing everything myself, meeting these individuals for myself, I realized, they're just showing the best moments, right? There was one thing when we were on the pod, they're like, this is the most, for all of them, this is the most degenerate. They're like, this is the most degenerate thing that we've done in a while. Most of these guys are the same as any one of us. We're working all the time, thinking about working all the time. Hardly do, we don't, people think on the internet that these people who post all this content, they're having a yacht party in, Dubai Ibiza every single week. No. They're doing this once, recording all the content and posting it consistently, so you think they're doing that. Actually, not actually doing that. They're actually working all the time, right? So, strongly advise, develop the intrinsic motivation within yourself, and then find extrinsic motivation to take you there, right? And find the gap between opportunities where you can meet other people doing better than you and provide value. Don't just say, can I if I had just told him oh yeah, your party looks sick, man, can I come out? You would never said yes. You have to provide value. Find ways to provide value, right? Give and other people reciprocate, right? It's the law, the rule or law of reciprocity, right? Do something for other people and they want to give back, right? You'll never go wrong with that. For 99% of people, you do something for them. They want to do something in return for you. So use that to your advantage. It's human nature, right? And be able to do that, and then you can bridge the gap and have both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation to succeed in your online business.